Hi, thank you for tuning in on another episode of Open Letters to a Survivor. Again, I'm Lady Poet Speaks, and I have my beautiful co-host with me as always, K Love.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, so as you know, we always start with the letter for the week. So I'm going to do the letter, then I'll let K Love introduce our guests and with the questions, and then we have a little surprise for you guys towards the end of the show. So I'll start with the letter. Dear survivor, I know oftentimes our stories get looked over and we feel like nobody is hearing us. I hear you screaming on the inside. Let your pen purge the pain. Let your pen tell the secrets that may be too hard to speak on. Most importantly, let your pen write prayers from your heart. It's time to heal and speak through writing. Love always, Tim, K Love, Lady Poet, and this week's special guest, Luciana Adams. All right, Kim, so thank you so much. You can go and introduce our guests, and we're talking about today healing through writing and journaling.
All right, everyone. So, we have a friend of mine who is a licensed social worker who developed her first book about journaling because journaling and writing is actually another way of healing yourself. So, I'd like to introduce Luciana Adams. We just need her to turn her camera on. Uh-oh. Give us 1 second.
Okay. Well, until because of the issue that we're having with the camera, so I'll go on and tell you guys about what we're doing this week. So once she comes on, we will listen to the questions that she has and hear her speak about her book and journaling. Also, after the show, we'll be doing a giveaway. So the first person that likes, comments, shares, and subscribes and goes over to openletterstoasurvivor.com and give the name of her organization and the subject line, you do have to put giveaway. The first person who does that will receive a Cash App prize today. We are giving away. So don't forget to add your Cash App to that email. So just stay tuned, everybody, and listen up so you can get a chance to win for today. So that is the surprise that we have in store for you today. We also are doing a giveaway. If you guys know any mothers that may want to have a good Mother's Day, but maybe can't afford to do the luxury, we will be sending one or two Mother's Dinner either via DoorDash next week or they can pick it up. We are doing a Bob Evans 3 course meal. We're going to get catered to them. Please nominate them by emailing us again at open letters to a survivor at gmail.com. And in that subject line, put nominate. Once you nominate, we will be able to go ahead and um, pick a person. To that, we do ask that if you can and you will, please donate so we can help some mothers out here who may need that extra love for Mother's Day. And then we're also going to go ahead and start with our Let's Go to Therapy segment. I'm going to do one of them now, and then I'm going to turn it over to K Love to do our other Let's Go to Therapy segment as well as our spotlight for the week. So
Mhm.
we've added a new person to our Let's Go to Therapy segment, and this is a Facebook group called the Melanated Minds Network, a network of resources for us. Search the Melanated Minds Network today on Facebook, and that's Melanated Minds with the S at the end on Facebook, and join the group. Um, And then I'm going to turn it over to Kay Love as she gives our spotlight as well as our other Let's Go to Therapy segment.
All right, everyone. We do apologize for some technical difficulties, but let's keep it going. So, for our spotlight, one of our favorite companies here in Cleveland, owned by Clarice, is the owner of See Yoni Pearls. To love thy yoni is to love thyself. See Yoni is based here in Cleveland, Ohio, specializing in women's intro, feminine health by introducing women to the art of yoni steaming with a product line of natural and organic products. So if you're interested in learning about steaming your yoni, contact today to discuss holistic fertility treatments and personalized care plans. You can reach Clarice at Sioni Pearls on Instagram and YouTube at CYONIPERPEARLS1. Sioni Pearls 1. And she'll look forward to hearing from you. She just reopened and she's got everything wonderful for women as far as the feminine part, our feminine body part. And now, in our Let's Go to Therapy, on this week's number one, it's Let's Go to Therapy. We want to highlight the Cleveland Health and Wellness Center, located in Beechwood and in Rocky River. For all of your counseling needs, please feel free to call 216 239 0951. Again, that's 216 239 0951. Servicing our community and our people. You can call to speak with Belinda Williams, and she will take great care of you.
Thank you. So we do have our guest on. You could go ahead and introduce her like you were starting to, and we'll turn it over to her. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have my sister, my friend, my accountability partner. Been knowing her for years. We serve at the same church. My friend Luciana Adams. She's a local social worker and she's developed a couple of different businesses. But today we're talking about her first book regarding journaling, healing yourself through journaling. So, with all that being said, hey, Miss Lucy.
Hello, everybody. Yes, you know what? Let me just say this. The devil, he tried it, but guess what? We made it through.
Right.
You
He is
know, we
not
gonna come
today.
in here. Yes, we're gonna have an amazing day. He can't stop nothing. Tried to block me. It was just I was blocked, so I apologize because I am promptly and I like to be prompt and on time and in excellence. So I apologize. I was just blocked. They wouldn't let me in, but blocked but unstoppable. So we're pressing
Amen.
through.
Amen.
That's right. Well, Miss Adams, please tell us a little bit more about yourself and your business.
So, once again, my name is Luciana. And so, what's prompted me? So, I do my journaling, as you stated, and it actually started back during the pandemic, is when I actually started with my journal. So, we in the house, and I'm like, something that helped me when I was a child because I used to just write all the time, expressing everything that I was going through that I couldn't actually articulate verbally at that age. So I just always just used to write, write, write. And so when I during the pandemic, I'm like, it's so much going on. And I know writing and journaling helped me. So I wanted to create something that would help everybody else how it helped me. So that's how I got started with it. And it's just been an amazing process.
Okay, you kind of like rolled right into my question about how did you learn about journaling as a way of healing?
When I was younger, like I said, I just started journaling because I went through a lot of stuff when I was younger. And it helped me to just write because I didn't always have that someone that to express what I was going through. So I just used to write, 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 write. And I have a lot of notebooks from when I just used to just write. And this started when I was at least about 9. And so I was just writing. So I didn't realize it was journaling, obviously, till I was grown. But so I would just to write, being molested, going through a lot of stuff that I went through as a young child. It was a lot going on. And I went through a lot of traumatic experiences. And so I just used to write everything that I was going through. And then once I became an adult and I was like, and we was going through the pandemic, and that was one of the hardest things I'm sure all of us have been experienced. Scary, everything. So I was like, I am going to create my journals and how it helped me. And it was helping to help people be able to cope and express what they're going through. We stuck in a house, we can't do anything. So it's like, okay, let's write what we're feeling because I work in psychiatry as well. So I know what it was doing to people. First of all, being stuck in the house, being fearful of what was going on. It was like the unknown, the unexpected. You didn't know. People was seeing their family members pass away or just being really sick. It was just a really scary, traumatic time. So I was like, I'm going to create this. And so I did, and it was great. But before I did it, I was I interviewed a lot of males because I wanted to see how they felt about journaling. I knew women, we will sometimes always just go ahead on the right, but I wanted to kind of like get the male's perspective on journaling. Someone was like, "Yeah, I would journal," or someone was like, "Well, just don't call it journaling, call it something else." But I wanted to get it started and get it going because I wanted to be able to help. That was my biggest thing, to be able to help and have an outlet while doing it.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned about the male aspect of it because um, men have to find ways to vent. Men
They
have
do.
to find healthier ways to get out whatever it is that they're experiencing or going through. And
Hmm.
what's so funny about writing is we used to call it a diary,
Hmm.
you know, writing in
Hmm.
the diary. And
Hmm.
that was a girl thing.
That was a girl
Boys
thing.
didn't keep no diary.
They didn't get no diary.
So it's interesting how we've changed terminology to mean the same thing. But journaling is just that. You're a journalist of your feelings. You're a journalist of your experiences. You're a journalist of what's going on in your environment.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
and I'm happy to know that you reached out and talked to the men because they are the least served
They
because
are. And
of
it's
the
like with
stigma.
women, we can call our girlfriends and go express what we're going through. We crying, we laughing, we are able to do that with our friends or someone. Men, they be like, man, you better toughen up, so they don't always have that outlet that they can go to and have someone to really express deeply what they're going through. And so I wanted to be able to have something that they can have as well as us women because you know although we journal, we'll write, but we also have, like I said, our outlets. We can reach out to our friends or, somebody that is in arm's reach or a phone call away that we can call. And if we're crying and stuff, they listening or crying with us. But men don't always have that. So I wanted to be able to serve both men and women.
Right. Now, as we talk about the men, how do you think or what do you find in our community how people feel about journaling and what the benefits are? Can you express the benefits of journaling in our community? Because, a lot of our people can barely take the time to read, let alone write.
No, that's true. Well, let me say this. I can say that it has truly increased because even being as a social worker, it's one of the things that we assign patients to be able to do to cope with different things that they're going through. So it has great benefits to it because you're able to just express. You go through so much and you hold in so much. So just being able to write it down, face it for one, be honest about what you're going through and what you're experiencing, because you have to really, a lot of times we don't want to face what we're going through experience, but that is a great benefit to be able to take it on at face value what you're experiencing, and you're writing your truth, because if you can't be truth to yourself, who can you be truthful with? So
Right.
you being truthful, you're expressing yourself, so now you're able to release a lot of stuff. It's releasing stress, it's releasing all that pressure and anxiety that you're holding in, and you're able to look at it and you're dealing with it, and you're weekly by weekly you're setting yourself goals on how you're going to accomplish some of the things that you may want to go through to be able to get a healing from it, depending on what it's going through. Some things obviously is going to take a little bit longer than others, but it is really good to be able to just really deal with it and be able to let it go, release it, express it. It improves your mental health. It's really good with improving your mental health and what you're going through instead of just holding it in. Because if you figure you holding stuff in, and as stuff build up, you have an outburst, and it's on people. Now you're able to write and you express and you're able to deal with it. So now you're able to handle your circumstances or situations differently when stuff arises, so that's one of the benefits. It helps with your mental health.
Right.
um it encourage you to be confident in you and in your writing and with things that you're going through. And some people think that journaling is only for mental health. I don't want to do that, but it's not. You can set goals. You can do a lot of things with just write out your plans. Like we know, being saved in church, write the vision, make it plain. You can write your visions, everything else. So it's not just for mental health wise. It's like just setting yourself goals and too for not only in the mental health, because I come from the mental health staff, right? But for just life, you can do different things when you're setting up, when you're thinking about journaling or writing and just keeping yourself on track. And it's a good way to have balance. It's a good way to have order and just staying on time, keeping yourself timely. So it has a lot of benefits when you're thinking about journaling, when you're thinking about writing.
Okay.
Right. And I personally can speak to that. I know I tell K Love all the time and she even knows, like, journaling I think was one of the outlets that saved my life.
Hmm.
I've experienced a lot of the same things growing up and trauma and traumatic, and I
Hmm.
would go through depressions and outbursts and even self injury and stuff
Yeah.
when I was younger because
Hmm.
I didn't have that outlet.
Hmm.
And so even now that I'm an adult and I write, I can write it before I can speak it.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, writing it before I can speak it is how and what gets me through a lot of it. And then somebody actually told me my writing was beautiful when I didn't even realize it. I was just using it as an outlet. And
Hmm.
because of that, and them telling me my writing was beautiful, that's how I created my three books as well. I'm just talking about, and they're just journal entries that I turned into actual stories, but
Hmm.
it allowed me to get it all out and feel it without actually having to speak it until I was ready to speak it.
That's
So
right.
I am grateful for a person like you who saw the need for it and actually had the same thing that I did and said, okay, well, let me write it out because I can't speak it out. I don't have anybody to talk to because,
Right.
sometimes we tell our stories and people look at us funny or
Right.
that
Right.
that, okay, I love you, but then when you tell the story, they look at you like you're crazy. No,
Hmm.
I'm not crazy. I just been through a lot, and you don't
Just.
understand that. So, I think that in doing that, writing, I always tell people writing saved my life, and
Hmm.
after God, writing is my love. After
Yes.
that. and then my love for people. And so now that's what I'm all about, is giving back. Whenever somebody tells me, I say, just write, just write. You don't have to have a start, but just write, just get it all out. It might sound jumbled, it might be scribbled, but just get it out, because that way, if you get it out, if you do want to turn it into a book or something more amazing, you can always go back and say, what was I thinking right here?
Ye-
And just change
Yes,
the thought.
yes, yes,
So, but I just tell people whenever they ask me, just start. If it come out garbled, if the only thing in your God hears our tears, but our pen hears our tears too. So I always tell people I need to purge, and they know when I say I need to purge, I mean I need to pray and I need to write. And
yes.
so I
I
tell
love
people
it.
that all the time. So
Mhm.
And you hit it right on there because when people ask me, so how do I get started writing? What do I do? I say the same thing, just write. And I said, just and you even if you don't write every day, just be consistent.
right,
And I said some people are good in the morning, they have better time in the morning, right in the morning. Some in the afternoon, same as evening. Just whenever your time is, just make that your time. It's also part of self-care, so it is so important to just get that in and just write. And like you said, it don't have to be a novel or something big. Sometimes you can just want to open up your journal and just write a note in there. Like something can come, you like, oh, let me write this down and I'll get back to it. But if I write this, I'll know how to continue on with it later on. But it's just getting started. It's no special way to do it, but just do it. And
Mhm.
you'll be so glad you did because, like you said, you fall back on it and you remember stuff. You be like, oh, yeah. And a lot of times when you get to writing, you be like, oh, yeah, I forgot about this. I'm adding this in here too. It triggers thoughts.
Mhm.
right,
And you get to writing and then you started writing. And next thing you know, you like 10 pages later, you're like, but I only had one word to say. You'd be so surprised how
Mhm.
much you have inside and how much one thought would trigger another to continue writing and expressing what you're feeling. And also with the writing, you can also make sure you add some affirmations and some encouragements in there for yourself too,
Mhm.
because that's a good way to be able to help you through the processes of some of the things that you may be going through and may have experienced. So I'm really big on self affirmations and self care because I think it's so important when you speak life to yourself. Because I can tell you something and encouraging yourself, and you can be a little happy for the moment, but it's all about how you feel about yourself and what you're pouring into yourself and believing for yourself. That's going to break down them boundaries, pull down them layers, and get you the healing that you need. So motivation, excuse me, is key. So even if you have to write some self affirmations in your book, post them around your house daily, in your car, wherever you're gonna go. So everything that you're saying, it's becoming life until you believe it,
Right.
because sometimes we can believe, it's easier to believe for others than it is for you to believe for yourself. But it's a train thing. You got to keep doing it daily until it just breaks. So it's all part of that. So I love it. So yes, yes, yes.
I like how you all have just expounded on it, because you could be sitting right next to somebody who has gone through some of the same traumatic experiences as yourself. But
Mhm.
until we learn how to share amongst one another, that's part of healing as well. Being able to talk to somebody. And when you don't have that, you always have yourself and you always have God. Ain't nothing wrong with talking to yourself, people.
Yeah.
If you need to start with that, it's okay. I'm
right,
here to tell you.
Listen, that's that self affirmation. Sometimes you got to sit there and be and talk. But
Right.
that's another thing. Sometimes you think that what you're going through, nobody else have experienced, but you'll be really surprised how many other people have experienced what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And this through communicating, you will realize like my sister and I host sister to sister events, and we talk. And we come in there and we talk to the other women, but once you get to talking, it's always that one in the room that's going to be quiet. You
Mm-hmm.
have one in the room that's going to be the one that love to talk, You're gonna have that one that's gonna be quiet, and then you have the in between. But but it's always that one that's the quiet one that's be like that come out of that shell once they find out you done been through that too, and you've been through that too. You'd be surprised how many people go through with you. So you're not alone. You're
Mhm.
not alone. You're not alone. So just be encouraged. If anybody hearing this, I always like to send out encouraging words. Be encouraged and just write it out. And that self affirmation is self care. Self affirmation is so important for yourself. So make sure you do it and say something sweet to yourself every day. I do that with my daughter and my son every day. They 3 and 4, but they know they self affirmations. We say them every day because I'm training them as a child. So when they get older, they're not looking for validation from nobody. They have that important that self care for themselves,
Yeah.
and it's like when you know better, you do better. So what I didn't have, I'm giving it to them.
Right, right. Passing the torch, that's what we have to do. And
Hmm.
honestly, I didn't know as a child uh, how traumatic my experiences were.
Hmm.
When I found some of my little diaries or stories or whatever as a child, I was like, Dad, I was really going through some stuff and didn't even realize it. So,
Hmm.
do you honestly believe, because I know you use it for therapy with your clients,
Hmm.
so you have a point depending on their program for them to go back and reread the things that they've already written so that they can compare and contrast and see how far they've come in their healing process.
That's a good question. And yes, it is you do go back because you do see how far you have come. And sometimes you go back and grab some things that you probably haven't dealt with and handled too. And so this helps you to get to your next steps. And then, so from we're writing today, but then in like 3 months, you see how far you have come. Then
Mm-hmm.
you do another 3 months. You'd be like, okay, it's 6 months now. Now I go back. I'm like, oh, I can talk about this without crying. Or,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you know what I'm saying? So is you will see the different steps that you take and your healing process when you do look back. Because it be them triggers. But when you totally heal, when them triggers don't bother you any longer, or when you can have them tough conversations that's easy to talk about now. So now it goes from I'm crying to now you going to motivating somebody else to because you have both experienced some of the same thing, but this is what brought me out, how I did it. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's so funny too when we talk about emotions, they always want to, say women are emotional beings, which we are, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'll never forget when I started writing about a particular situation that I thought I was over and healed from. But when I started writing, the writing brought out my true emotions. And I was like, dang, I ain't over this yet. Let me work on this a little bit more because I'm
Yeah.
sitting here struggling trying to write about it. But clearly, it was a stronghold that I needed to address.
Yes.
And I
Hmm.
wasn't clear on that until I started writing about it.
Hmm.
And I was like,
A lot
oh,
of times we suppress stuff. And
right.
so a lot of stuff be so suppressed. Sometimes you think you be over things and it just be suppressed. So you be like, it's not until you deal with it until you realize that, okay, let me handle this, like you said, or oh, I'm over this. So yeah, some things we just suppress and dealing with it face on and talking about it, you'll really realize how far you are or not with that situation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Lady Poet, have you experienced anything like that in your writing?
Of course, actually all the time. So every time I sit down to write a new project or start on a new project, I go back to things and I'm like, I forgot all about that. Or oh
Hmm.
my God, what if I put this? And as I did an interview a few weeks ago, and my auntie Veronica actually said it the best. What are people gonna think about me if they read this? And so I go back and I'm like, well, but I want to heal and I can't stay stuck. So if I stay stuck, I like to give back by speaking and by writing it, because if I write it like you guys say, then you realize you're not alone. Here it is,
Right.
somebody else wrote about it. So because they wrote about it, I know that I'm not alone in this. So sometimes I go back and I'm like, no, I'm not ready yet. Or yeah, I go to counseling. That's why I do a let's go to therapy section every week. So sometimes we're talking and I get mad because I'm like, I'm not ready to talk about it yet. Then I realize, okay, um, I'm not as healed from that as I thought I was.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, and going back and doing that, it actually keeps progress with, and like she said, keep yourself accountable and also progress. Like, okay, yeah, before, every time I talk about this, I would cry. Now I look at it and I'm like, okay, I could speak on it. My voice doesn't even shake when I talk
Yes.
about it. So it's victory in that as well. And I can and it was funny because I used to use, like I said, my writings instead of my words. And now I use my words and my writing together
Yes.
to keep me moving in the right direction.
Mhm.
So like I said, like she said, I'm a avid believer in it. And I write. I actually wrote a poem called um healing and pain beauty healing, and it talks about affirmations and how I had to take those bad thoughts and turn them into good thoughts and
Mhm.
speaking to myself. And when somebody told me this, well, this is what I counteracted with them. So it helps me in writing my poetry about some of the things that I went through. Some of my journal entries, I turn them into poems because this journal entry can deal with two or three different topics. So let me put them
Yes.
together.
Yes.
So I am an avid, like I said, I love writing. I don't know if I love I mean I love God the most, but I don't know if I love people more, writing more. I can't I can't choose it because when I'm unable to speak, it speaks for me. And if it wasn't for writing, I would still be that same person that I used to be and that I fought so hard to come out of. So I'm loving this topic today, number one. And number two, yes, because I am a writer. I think I was the only kid in school got happy when we had writing assignments because it gave me a chance to actually write in school. So, and I want to speak on too how you said even when you think of something, to just go ahead and write it down. I'm the type I got a notepad on my phone and I could be out and about in the middle of somewhere and I'm like, wait a minute, I just thought about this. Let me put it in my phone and
Yes.
I'll address it when I get home.
Yes, I do the same thing. I go right to my eyes. It's so full. I said, I think my phone gonna overload because I got so much stuff. Because you just never know where you are, and what you write. That's me. I stop and be like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta add that in. But I'm the same way. I use my note pad in my phone all the time.
Right.
Oh well, I might be using mine for a different reason. You know, when you get into that club, when you get a little bit older, you forget stuff. So I be using that just so I can remember. Period.
Listen, I'm in that. Listen, I listen that too. All the above. All the above, but but that's what it's for. That's what it's all about. Just writing, and then you going back, you're checking, you're moving forward. But that's good. I like that how you said that you was using your writing and turning them into books because I did the same exact thing. And but that's the best way to do it. If you ever want to be a writer, that's the best way to take notes. Every day, write something. Write something. And when you give your just say if a year later you writing for a year, that's a whole book. You done wrote it out already.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the best way to do it.
And I tell you too, when we talk about healing and how writing can save your life, I didn't even know or understand as a child that I was depressed and
Hmm.
I was having suicidal thoughts. And instead of me going through with attempts, I was just writing about it,
Hmm.
and when I looked back over that, I was like, wow,
Hmm.
this writing kept me and it kept me whole. Even though I might have been broken, I mean, I was able to be put back together because I was releasing it. I
Hmm.
wasn't holding it inside. I wasn't taking it out on other people. Well, maybe here and there, but um, but I didn't know why, you know. So until I started rereading some of the things that I had written, and even now as an adult, you still have those moments when you got to refresh and hit the reset button, and then take a look back. Not that you want to relive anything, but you just want to remember where you came from. And the journaling helps you, as we said earlier, see the progress that you've made over the course of your life, and
Yes.
that how you've changed and you've improved. And we're still working on ourselves. It's a constant progress, you
Hmm.
know, in healing ourselves. And this is just another avenue that can assist us. And I want to add too that you not only have a journal book for adults, but you also have one for children, correct?
I do. I created one for children because my journal for the adults is free flow writing. It's free flow writing because I just want you to write your expressions and your feelings. And in the beginning, I do have a list of affirmations and self care because I used to get, what should I do for self care? Because most people was thinking that you do this big elaborate things and that's self care. I said I have a 3 and a 4 year old. Going in the bathroom and closing the door for 5 minutes is self care for me. So it's like you don't have to do this big stuff. Go for a walk, do something. But so I put self care and affirmations in them. And so for the child ones, I know every child don't always know how to write because if they starting like 5 or something, so they really can't write this whole big elaborate thing. So I created space in there for them to draw because that's another way of expression through drawing. So I put drawing, a space for drawing and also writing as well because that can start from like 5 and on up for those. So yes, I do have them from children as well.
Okay. And lastly, well, not lastly, but one other question. Are there different styles or types of journals? And if so, how do we know? Because there's a multitude of journals out here to choose from.
So it's so I'm going to say it's kind of relative to each person, honestly. But they have different platforms. Like mine's is a book, but they have digital, you can do online, whatever you're comfortable with. And then they have so many different types that you can how you can journal. You have the dream ones, you have just so it's so many different types. It's going to be relative to the person. But if you're one that like the free write, that'll be the kind like I have. The ones that have more detail, you can go with the dream ones. If you don't like to write and you like typing, you can do online and digital. So it just depend on what the individual person like. It's going to be truly relative to the person, but they do have something for all for you to be able to do. And like we said, with all you do, just keep it consistent and you will love it. Just keep it consistent. And whatever time, it may be in the morning today, it may be in the afternoon tomorrow. Or if we all have cell phones. If you want to jot something down, like we keep ours on the notes. If something come, jot it on your phone real quick, and then later on, add it to your book or add it to your online, your digital. So yeah, they have different platforms, and it's going to be relative to each person what they're comfortable using and doing.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And Lady Poet, do you have any other questions for our guests?
Okay, so yes, you already actually did the encouraging word that I was going to ask because I always end the show with our motivational minutes from Tim, but also an encouragement to everyone. Then I want people to know how they can reach you and how and where they can purchase your online journal. That's my first question. And then tell us a little bit about your organization because, as you know, this week we are doing a giveaway and they have to actually say the name of your organization in the email to get the actual prize. So the first person who sends your put giveaway in the open letters to survivor@gmail.com and also list the name of your organization or the name of your book. They'll be the first one who does that will actually get a prize, and they also have to list their cash app.
Okay. So the business is My Favor by Faith. That's MyFavorByFaith on all platforms. And my website is myfavorbyfaith.com.
Okay.
Okay, and where can they purchase your book on your website?
They can. It's a link on there that they can purchase the journals online on my website.
Okay, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming and being a special guest. We also want to have you back on our show for our call to action that we're doing in June.
Yes.
I think you will be amazing for it.
Oh,
So
thank you.
I appreciate you coming today because, like I said, I'm an avid writer too. So you just hit everything on the head in my book. And anybody, K Love has been one of my like best friends since we worked together at UH. Um, so I really am grateful for the opportunity to get to meet you as well. Um, Also, before we turn it over to Tim for our motivational minutes, are there any other questions or comments that you would love to ask our guests for today?
Well, you tapped in on an encouraging word, but do you have another that you want to share with us?
So I would just say, just keep believing in yourself because you are enough.
Thanks.
Amen. That's it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
And
you so much.
thank you for joining us. We're going to turn it over to our
Thank
motivational
you.
minutes from Tim. You are welcome. And then I also want to let everybody know I'm going to repeat about the giveaway for next week as well. But we're going to turn it over to Tim for our motivational minute. Again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm
Hey,
glad to be on. I've been hearing so much good things, and everything y'all said. I was gonna say it. Y'all did the motivational minute today, but I just wanted to echo what you all was saying. As we go through life, as we go through things, we gotta lay it out there, put it all out there, put everything that you got going on out there, especially before the Lord, because in the 11th chapter of Matthew, it says it best: "Come unto me, all ye that labor and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest." The Lord will give you rest. He'll give you peace of mind, but you got to release everything that you got. If you want to experience more and more great blessings in life, you got to release the weight that's holding you down. Because like the Lord said, I'll never give you more than you could bear. How the Lord gonna give you blessings, and you have all this other weight coming along as well? You got to release it. And the great thing how to release it is journal it. Put it journal everything that you're going through. Ask the Lord to bring you through it. But when you journal it, lay your hand on it and pray over it, and let it go unto the Lord. Don't even open it. Don't even open it. Just continue to journal it, pray over it, journal it, pray over it, and watch the Lord have allow a miracle to happen in your life. Because we all go through things, but the main thing we gotta be honest with ourselves. Because with me per se, like I've always been the type to help everybody do this and do that. But one of my great friends, he's also a deacon in my church. He asked me, "You doing all this, but who's helping Timothy? Who's seeing about Timothy? Who's taking care of Timothy?" And I had to remind myself that I have to take care of myself before I can take care of others. I can't give my all to everything if I don't give myself my all. And I encourage everyone that's listening that you got to be honest with yourself, and you got to be willing to talk about it. Because when you talk to other people, you can bounce ideas off each other and network, and you can gain knowledge as well, and it can help you grow even better in life. Because I had a in person Bible study about over a week ago, and we all really it was a real good fellowship. It was Bible study and fellowship. We had a good meal. We bounced ideas off each other. We talked about the importance of fellowship, and the main thing is outreach, growing, especially of parenting. Single moms, you gotta. I know I can't relate to it, but I can see from afar. It's hard. It's hard raising a child, being single without a man in the house. You got to be the man and the female. But the main way to get through those hard times is releasing what you're going through, praying over it, and allowing the Lord to place great people in your life to help uproot you. As I told one of my friends, that like I'm not knocking who you be hanging with. I'm not knocking your friends at all. But you need to get with people that's better, that's more so on your level spiritually. Because if you have people that help you grow, you can grow even more. But if you have things and people that's bringing you down and bring you down and bring you down, you gotta let the Lord speak to you and the Lord will tell you it's time to move and go somewhere else. Go to the other place that I have for you, because it's all about seasons. Your season may have ended over here. You got to go over to the other place, and the main way how to get to the other place is continually listening to what the Lord has to say to you. And if you're going through things in life, just know that it's okay, because we're all going through things. But the main thing, you got to be honest with yourself and be bold before the Lord and lay everything out there, as you always say, and journal it. Journal it, journal it. You may have to go for a walk or go for a drive. Go do something positive to get your mind at ease. You have to continually encourage yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. If you did something wrong in the past, oh, it's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay. You're gonna get through it. You're doing better now because you're striving to be better. Don't be hard on yourself. And I just want to just leave you all with this is, and Jesus has, and this is the promise that God had for his people. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sins, and I'll heal their land. Jesus will heal you. He will strengthen you. Show humility, come from the past, go towards the future, and God has it all laid out for you. Encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. You could do it. You got it. And I'm going to definitely leave you all with this. This is something a little different, but I feel it's on my heart. And it starts off like this. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Sometimes you have to speak victory into the test. And no matter how you feel, just speak the word and you will be healed. Speak over yourself. Encourage yourself in the Lord. Oh, 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 oh. Encourage yourself. Speak over yourself in the Lord. Encourage yourself. You could do it. You got it. God bless you and God keep you.
Thank you so much for that encouraging word, the song, and dropping the nuggets for everyone today. Thank you for being a part of our motivational minute. We'll see you next week. And next week, we're
All
doing a
right.
special salute to mothers and the
All right.
importance of mothers.
I'm blessed to be a part of this, and thank you all for having me. Can't wait for next week. Gotta salute to our mothers.
Amen.
Amen. All right.
All
See you
right.
next week, Tim.
All right. See you next week.
Bye bye. Okay, thank you. Before we wrap up today, our beautiful and amazing show that we've had, I do want to tell everybody again, if you know a mother that wants to have a Mother's Day but maybe have some things going on, please email us at open letters to a survivor at gmail.com, and I will even open it up to other states. So at first I wanted to just do it for our Ohio where we are, but with your support and donations to ladypoetspeaks.com, I'm hoping to do it for two. Maybe one in Ohio and maybe one in another state. We'll do DoorDash or pickup if you have it, or if we have to do Uber Eats, whatever, we'll arrange it. The Bob Evans 3-course meal for the mothers. To nominate them, please email us at the email provided and put nominate in the subject line. I'm going to the comments now and to the email to see who won the giveaway. We'll talk about who won the giveaway next week live on the show. We love you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, donate to Lady Poet Speaks. And to my amazing co-host, K Love, I love you, and we'll be back here next week.
Woohoo! See you guys. Good night.
Hey, good night.